Next on the program, California allows illegals college aid. And how much money does Haiti need anyway?
I think Apple's conspiring to make me buy an iPhone 4.
Hello and welcome to the program. I am your host, Fat Man.
And I'm Little Boy.
And welcome back. Little Boy, how was your week?
It's pretty good until today. I'm a little devastated right now.
Uh-oh, what's going on?
My iPhone died.
Your iPhone 3?
Yes.
Just go out and buy an iPhone 4.
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that because I currently don't have the right service, so I have a jailbroken iPhone. So something happened. I've never seen it happen before. Now I'm trying to recover it, and it's just a big nightmare.
So wait a minute now. I know you have I know what you're saying. You have a jailbroke, but you can't just go buy a phone, or how does that work? I mean, I know they're expensive, but I'm just saying.
I could go buy a phone, but they're very expensive because I don't have the current plan. And usually, like if you have AT&T, you go in and you upgrade, and you sign a contract and all that, and you get a discount on the phone. But since I'm just buying the phone, it's like $600 or something like that.
What? Oh my gosh! All right, well, never mind then. That's a lot of money. Well, anyway, other than your phone dying, how's your week?
It's going all right. How about yours?
Uneventful.
Yeah?
Honestly, last few weeks have just been uneventful. Except for my wife and my daughters fighting and screaming and yelling at each other. And my oldest daughter is going to...
You can plug that into any week, though, I think.
That's true. My oldest daughter is trying to get into some colleges, so we're working on paperwork and grants and scholarships and everything that, you could go for that.
Is she working on sports scholarships?
Yes, sports. She's a big-time field hockey player, and she's working on sports scholarship. But field hockey, one of the problems is, except for tennis, softball, of course, and pretty much that's it for female sports, that actually have good paying scholarships.
Basketball?
Yeah, but again, even basketball. I mean, you know what I'm saying. You have to be.
A buddy of mine at work, we're discussing, if his daughter was to get into women's sports, what women's sports could you really do anything in? And we were thinking, basketball is one of them. I mean, there's a professional basketball league. I don't know if you're aware. No, I flipped past it before. But there's somewhere to go with that. You can go with basketball, tennis, maybe soccer.
Maybe, but
gymnastics.
Gymnastics, definitely. I didn't think about gymnastics, but there's very few.
No, there's really,
And the scholarships are extremely limited, and she's looking at going to some pretty good-sized colleges and, thousands of dollars a year. And so, of course, financial aid, trying to get whatever we can get. And that actually is going to segue into something I wanted to talk to you about. Have you been following California law about Governor Davis, who just signed in, or Governor Brown? We call him Davis. He reminds me of Davis.
Oh,
okay. What? You got a problem with that? Does he not remind you of Davis?
I got a problem with just about everything you say.
Yeah, but come on, Brown. Anyway, we've had him as a governor before, which he was horrible. Now he's a little bit better because he's a little bit tighter on the purse strings, but he's still kind of I just didn't even say. Anyway, the state legislature just passed a new bill called the DREAM Act. Mm-hmm. The DREAM Act allows illegal immigrants to get college aid from the state. This is the state that is absolutely broke. This is the state that has an education program in the over $60 billion. This is the state that I am having an extremely difficult time helping my child, or my child having a hard time getting scholarships and anything that she can get. And newsflash, I'm a legal resident. I am an American citizen. I'm a disabled American citizen that was in law enforcement, got injured in law enforcement, helping the community.
Putting parking tickets on cars.
Yeah, parking is right. And I can't get this, but if you're an illegal immigrant, you now qualify in California for college aid.
Well, I don't know. I mean, on the surface, that sounds, like it's probably a little backwards. And I've been doing a little bit of research, and I'm having a little bit of trouble. I mean, I don't want to. The problem is people who are against this are going to be tagged as being racist. I think, and
why racist?
That's just the word that's thrown out there. You say,
you're just automatically saying what? That illegal immigrants are Mexican?
I'm saying that illegal immigrants aren't American.
They're not.
So anybody
but America is not a race.
No, I know, but I'm just saying how it's going to be looked at. I'm not saying that I don't think that people who are against it are going to be racist. I think there are some people that are racist that are going to be against it.
Well, of course, and
that's probably why they'll be against it. But I also think that there's going to be, I mean, if you're not a legal resident here, why should you be able to get, free, financial aid?
You shouldn't.
I don't know. I don't think you should either.
But this is your guy in the state.
Well, that doesn't mean every decision he makes I'm going to agree with. I'm not like you. You would back anything that Bush did back when we used to.
Oh, Bush! He brings Bush up every time
because
he ever wants to talk
He
politics.
was the president when we, that you loved, that you voted for twice.
Yes.
That
and you voted for too.
I did not.
You did too vote for him.
I did not.
You did too.
I did not.
Anyway, continue.
Well, just because you can say that, I did not. I didn't vote for him. I voted for him exactly 0 times.
Yeah.
2 times less than you did.
Did you vote against him?
Yes.
Both
2 times. Yes.
Okay, who was the second time?
John Kerry.
And who was the first time?
Al Gore.
You did not.
I did.
You told me.
No, I said.
Whatever. You know what? That doesn't matter.
I voted for Al Gore, and then when John Kerry was running, at the very, very beginning, I wasn't, I told you I'm kind of open. I'm not quite sure. I'm not super happy with the way Bush is running the country, but I'm not sure, and because I'm not like you,
Matter of fact, well, actually,
I got a question. Let's go in a little bit deeper into this. This is something I've been wanting to ask you for a long time.
Go ahead.
Let's say they change the laws and everything right now, and for re-election, it's Obama, or they bring back George W. Bush.
Bush and heartbeat.
Really?
Yes.
You would vote for the guy
I feel safer with Bush.
Even though under Obama we've had no terrorist attacks,
and I give that a lot of credit to Clinton for that.
We captured the guy.
I give that to Clinton.
We captured the guy who appointed Clinton.
No, I think she would have been a better president too.
Who appointed Clinton?
Do you know why he did that though?
No, I don't care why. Who did it?
It doesn't matter.
No,
Obama
I want you.
But it
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. So he put somebody in the right spot where they should be.
Yeah, where he didn't have to worry about her hurting his political career.
Doesn't matter why he did it. It doesn't matter why you think he did it.
That's why he did it.
Well, you can say that. Just because you say that doesn't make it true.
Yeah, but I'm always right usually. So
makes you sound
anyway, continue.
So you would really vote for the guy? I don't understand how he makes you feel safer.
He did. He makes me feel safer.
Who was president when that whole 911 thing happened?
You mean the guy who just started being president?
Who was president?
It was Bush, and look what happened to the military since then. Before
what did he do in response to that? What did he do in response to that?
Well, Osama's dead.
Who was president when Osama got captured?
Oh yeah. But do you think
who was president when Osama got captured?
It was already
no. Who was president when Osama got captured?
He didn't get captured. He got killed.
Who was president when Osama got killed?
That was Obama.
Thank you.
But before that?
Thank you. Oh, all right. Well, are we going to go all the way back to Reagan and tell me that it's all because of Reagan now? We can keep going backwards.
It's all because of George Washington. Hello.
Yeah.
Another Republican.
Jeez.
Founder of our country.
Oh man.
One of them.
I think that things were a little bit different there.
I actually do believe that President Bush wasn't the greatest president in the world, but he's definitely better.
Because Obama hasn't fixed the problems that he's caused.
He can't fix them. He can't get his own party together.
But you're admitting that there were problems caused by Bush, and you'd rather bring him back? You'd rather bring back him?
Yes. Than Obama, yes.
You are nuts.
Yes.
I always thought you were nuts before. I know you're nuts now.
Nope.
No,
because
I think that you would vote for Bush because you would vote for any Republican because that's how you are.
Not true. Well, I will vote for Republican in the next part.
Of course you will. It doesn't matter who it is.
But
you will vote for any Republican anytime.
Not any.
Yes, you would.
Not any.
Yes, you would. Whoever they marched out there, you'd vote for.
No, because I didn't want to vote for McCain. And I had told you that I didn't want to vote for McCain.
Until he brought in a crazy lady to run as vice president.
I liked her better than him.
I guarantee. But when you told me that you weren't going to vote for McCain, what did I say?
You said I don't know
Bull.
what you said.
I
Bull,
said
yeah.
bull.
And I wasn't going to.
You were going to.
I wasn't
said,
going
yes,
to.
you were.
No, I wasn't.
You were the whole time. And then all of a sudden, you say, "Oh, guess what? I'm voting for him now," and you try and make it because it's Sarah Palin.
It was Palin. I liked her.
You were going to vote for him no matter what, and we both know that. You know that. I know that. Every listener knows that because that's the way you are.
So let's get back to
Where were we?
your guy in the state.
Yes.
And how you're afraid of being called a racist, so you won't really throw this out there. But how do you feel
I'm not
about
afraid of
the
being called a racist. First of all, I think everybody's racist a little bit, you know. Mm-hmm. And if you say you're not racist, you're a liar, because everybody is. You know, I'm not afraid of being called racist. To me, I don't like it. I don't like it because I think that we need to concentrate on people who are, you know,
in this country who are needy.
I'm not saying people who are here illegally don't contribute, because they do contribute, you know. And I'm for, let's try and find a way for people who are here illegal to make them here legally. Let's try and find a way, you know. I'm not just saying let's just.
Well, federally, the DREAM Act is kind of a roadmap to how to become legal, but. What happened was...
This is like part 2 of the DREAM Act or something, isn't it?
Well, but the DREAM Act is federal.
Yeah.
Now, they're calling this the state's DREAM Act to say, okay, even though you haven't done anything towards becoming, you know, to be legal, right. And even though you're not actually in the process of it, well, we'll give you to college age, just like you were.
See, I don't think I like it. I don't think I like it. You know, I don't know. They could be doing more things with that money. They could be helping people who are citizens, you know. And you know, it might sound kind of mean, and I'm not trying to make it sound mean, but you know, look at how other countries are. We're so lax on who we let in here because we're so worried about perception, worldwide perception of how we're perceived, and maybe we need to. We as a country, you know.
Yeah,
I can't speak for you because you are so strange.
I am not strange. I am not upset if other countries say that we're mean.
I know.
You know, I don't care.
And I think that we do hold ourselves to higher standards, which we should.
Yeah, we should.
You know, and I don't think that if somebody comes in here illegally, we should capture them and call them spies, like other countries do. You know, true. I think that's a little bit on the other end of the spectrum. But you know, when you know, we can talk. I know we're going all over the place here, but we can talk about that. You know, that's okay. So what? It's half of my show. I can go all over the place.
That's true. It is. You
know, I mean, you can talk about those hikers that was it Iran who got captured and then they were called spies and stuff. You know, a buddy of mine at work, we're talking about it, and he's like, well, I mean, we all know it's not. Once you leave this country, you're not in America anymore.
You're on your own.
And if you're going to be going and hiking somewhere where you shouldn't be hiking, you know, well, I mean, we don't want to see them get killed or beheaded or anything like that.
But you're the dumb idiot that did it.
Yeah, that's their laws. If you don't like it, then stay the hell away. You know? I mean, I felt bad for them, and I certainly wanted them to come home, and we did everything we could, and it worked out for them. But I'm thinking, well, let's get to the overall point of, you know, what were they doing over there?
What? I mean, what was your idea? Yeah. What was going through your head? First off, because they actually went from Iraq and then climbed over the mountains into Iran. Hello?
You're asking for it, you know? What about that? Remember that kid, this was many years ago, who got caught spray painting like the cars or something, and he got caned over in wherever it was, you know? Do you remember that?
Oh, man, I do. Oh,
I want to say Michael Fay was his name or something like that. And you know, everybody was sad. And, you know, of course, you don't want to see anybody get caned, you know?
Or stoned.
Right.
You know?
I don't want to see somebody get caned. But you know what? If spray painting on a car gets you caned when you're in that country, maybe you shouldn't spray paint the car. You know? Maybe you just shouldn't do that. I don't care if it's, you know, it isn't. To me, caning somebody in public, well, I don't think they did it in public, but caning somebody, there were witnesses. It wasn't it wasn't public on the street, but there were witnesses. Caning somebody to me seems inhumane, and to you, I don't know, maybe you might be down for that or something.
No, it's inhumane, okay? All right.
But that's what the law is there. So maybe you shouldn't do that, you know? And it sucks, and I'm happy that we did everything we could to stop it, and instead of getting 15 whacks, he got 4 whacks or whatever it was, you know?
But he still got him.
He still got him because that's the law. And, you know, what kind of a country are they if they say, this is our law, this is what we do to our people, and then you can come over here and do whatever you want, you know? And I don't think that the United States does enough of that, you know? We kind of let people get away with stuff. We're a little bit too lax, you know?
Wow. So
I'm not as radical on it as you are, but I think
let's
that
go back to. Do you think
where were we?
Do you think
I'm
that
my
Brown?
my iPhone not working. It's just thrown me for a loop here.
Oh my!
I can't get it fixed, and now I can't even stay on topic.
I can't believe it. For a minute there, I was like, "Where the hell are we?"
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I got my ear beeping saying beep 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 because you're off topic. You're off topic.
Anyways, no, I think that maybe we should be concentrating more on getting Californians financial aid for college than non.
Well, they're
I don't want to say
Californians,
non-Californian, but even
non-legal
Californians,
residents.
I mean, if you live outside the state, I think they need to concentrate on people in the state, and then outside the state, and then maybe outside the country, dead last.
Yeah, that's last. That's last.
But let's concentrate on getting them here, making sure they're here legally. And if you've been, I understand, okay, so you've been here 40 years illegally, and it's a little daunting, and probably you've lived in a little bit of fear for 40 years, that you're here illegally, and, maybe it's too late and stuff. Let's figure out a way to maybe, you've been contributing, for 40 years to something, you can't be here, but I don't think that you should be able to collect welfare, and I don't think you should be able to collect financial aid or any of that stuff, unless you're here legally. And if you have kids and they need all that stuff, then let's find a way to make you here legally, or you gotta go home, man. Yeah. Make this your home, legally, or you need to go.
You need to go
to your home, and I'm not trying to sound racist, and I'm sure some people will think that that's racist, and I just, let's do it legally. I do it legally. I follow the rules, and I certainly wouldn't go, down to Mexico.
You're gonna have.
If I go down to Mexico, I don't think I can own property. I don't think I can do any of that stuff.
You can't own property. And you're not going to get government grants. You're not going to get anything down there.
And that's fine with me.
Yeah,
why should they do that?
You might get caned in public.
Well, I don't think that's done in Mexico. I don't think I'll be spray painting cars, but maybe I will. I don't know.
Who knows? Because apparently that's what Americans do when they leave the country.
I heard that.
You're going to be a spy.
Yeah, I'm going to be a hiking spy, spray painting cars.
Well, I wanted to kind of get into this next section. I was going over the budget this year, and the federal budget. I mean, you could spend every waking hour of every day for 5 years to go over 1 year's budget. Yeah. So I'm, looking at some points.
Who was the last president to balance a budget, by the way?
Clinton.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well done, Bill.
Yeah, well done, Bill. And your Republican Congress.
Who was the president?
Anyway, let's go back to what I was going to talk. Because, see, here's the problem.
How many times did Reagan budget?
Would you stop?
How many?
We got to go over this issue here. And if you keep bouncing, we're
the answer is zero, by the way. But okay.
And his Democratic Congress.
How many times did Reagan balance the budget? 0 times.
With his Democratic Congress.
0 times for Reagan.
So here we are on welfare.
Mm-hmm.
$995.6 billion this year in 2012 will be set for welfare. Of that,
how many of those people do you think actually, I guess there's going to be fraud with anything. What do you think the percentage of that is actually legitimate people?
No idea. No idea, and they don't know.
Yeah,
they have no idea.
Can you want to throw a number out there? You think like maybe 70% of them legitimate, 30% are cheating the system, or do you think it's
I don't
75, 25? Man, it's tough. That's tough to even think about.
I don't know. And to be honest, you have and this is how they broke it down. So let me break it down real quick. They broke down family and children 107.2 billion. These are all billions. I'm just going to set the numbers out.
Are they percentages? Or just
no. Of the 495 billion, here's the breakdown.
But it's not telling you what the percentages are.
Not on this chart. I'm sure there's others, but come on.
Okay. No.
Okay. Family and children are $107.2 billion. Unemployment, $134.8.
So they're counting unemployment.
Because welfare is unemployment is part of welfare.
When I think of welfare, I was thinking of like food stamps.
Yeah, I know, and I knew you were
going
to get to that.
Most people, I think that's the way most people.
Workers' comp is also.
You think unemployment is one thing, and then food stamps and welfare are something completely separate.
I know.
That's the way I look at it.
Welfare is the welfare of you and your family. It's everything about your welfare. Right. Workers' compensation is $7.6 billion. Housing,
That's like HUD, like HUD and stuff
Section
like
8
that.
housing
Right.
is $69.4 billion.
That's a lot. But, there's people that need it,
Right. And then social exclusion. This is going to be, gosh, it even breaks it down even more, but that's going to be like, I tell you the truth, it breaks it down to a million different things, and this show's not long enough for that. It's 176.6 billion, and that's going to be into like other securities. They're called 609 securities.
Yeah, I look at all that stuff, and I think all of that stuff is necessary. You probably don't think it is. I think that there are really legitimate people that it's really necessary for these programs. The thing is you get the few, well, we don't even know how many, that are scamming the system and taking advantage of this. And that's what, I'm wondering if they invested serious money into investigating all of this and really trying to catch the people scamming. At the beginning would cost a lot of money because it'd be a huge investment. But I wonder if 5 years down the road, how much money if it would save enough money to warrant the investigation, or if they're looking at it going, you know what? The investigation is going to cost more than we'd save, so just let the scammers get away with it.
How can that be?
I don't know.
How can that be? You got almost
first of all,
$500 billion.
You have to figure out how many percentage of them are scamming. That's why I asked you.
Like I said,
Right.
they don't know.
You'd have to decide. We think 30% are scammers. That's a number I'm throwing out there. I'm probably way off. Maybe it's 12%. I don't know. But you decide, okay, we really legitimately think 30% of these people are taking advantage of the system. So however much 30% of that money is, they figure how much it's going to cost to really deep down and investigate this stuff and see if it's going to be worth it. Because if it's worth it, I think that that's something that we should do.
It would create jobs.
Yes.
Your investigation system, it would increase. Now, would it save? Who knows? The thing is, in welfare, there's people who know how to run the system, and it's now generational. So basically, the parents figured out how to run the system.
Yeah.
Their kids figured out how to run the system. Now their kids are parents, and they're running the system.
And the thing is, we all call it food stamps. There's no such thing as food stamps anymore.
No, it's an EBT card,
right? Which they've progressed in the sense where people who use food stamps were looked down on. So they kind of try.
You don't even know. It looks like credit card.
Exactly, and that was the idea behind that, I think. But I think that left it open for more scamming.
Now you have people who have beautiful homes.
I know,
and they're going, well, heck, I can get $300 a month in food. And you can buy anything with it. It's not just...
Well, you can't buy liquor. There's still limits.
You can't buy tobacco and stuff like that. But see, you can still go to register and purchase a bunch of stuff, scan your card, it'll automatically pay for what it can pay for, and you're just left with the rest. So say, and you can't tell. I mean, you cannot tell. You know how many times... Which is
good because there are legitimate people who need it, and you don't want them to feel bad about themselves.
Right, and you don't want to. When I was on the force, you would have a suspect, and in the process of doing everything,
process of feeding the meter,
you would, if you were doing a search, if it was a misdemeanor or whatever, and you would pull their wallet out, you always saw everybody had the same exact looking credit card. Not everybody. I'm just saying there was, but I would talk to some of these guys, and they would have thousands. I'm not kidding you. Some of these guys would have thousands of dollars rolled up, because they're doing drug sales and everything else, and an EBT card.
Because that's just because all that drug sales and stuff money is unreported.
Well, of course, but they can use that money to go buy food.
Right. Of course, but that's just their way of saying, stick it to the man, because the man's that's making me do this, The
man is making me go out and make a lot of people 500 times what the officer who just arrested them makes.
How many people will go to the grocery store and they'll steal something and they'll think, they're ripping me off all the time anyways. This is my chance to get back, I know,
it's exactly
and you do feel ripped off sometimes, but, is the answer ripping them off back, is really that the answer?
Well, I have some stats. Let's go back to the budget breakdown of welfare real quick.
Okay.
Do you want to hear this breakdown?
Sure.
This is breakdown by race. Now, the U.S. government breaks everything down by everything. I think they can break it down by how many people don't have a left toe. I mean, there is...
that would be a very small percentage.
Well, I'm just saying, they have extreme breakdowns. But this breakdown is not really extreme. This is the welfare recipients, and this goes by race. This is white, black, Hispanic, Asian, and other. So, of welfare, 39.8%.
Here's the percentages I want. I like percentages. That's easy.
Well, yeah, but these percentages aren't what you're asking for.
But it's easier for me to understand when you break it into percentages.
Okay, well, I'm going to start with whites. For the white population, 38.8% of the total welfare budget goes towards white. 39.8% of the total welfare budget goes towards black. 15.7% of the total welfare budget goes towards Hispanic. 2.4 towards Asian. The remaining 3.3 is to other categories.
Okay.
Now,
which in order is probably the order of population in the country. Not the same percentage. I mean, in California. This is in California?
This is state. This is federal.
Federal, okay. Is that, I mean, of course, the number one, percentage of population is going to be white.
Is white, yeah.
And then black is 2, and Hispanics 3, right?
Right, yes. 1, 2,
so
3.
That's in the same order
right.
as how the population of the federal of the United States is.
But that doesn't go by how many.
Right.
Right. Because
I'm just talking order right
in the
now.
US, the
like
population,
there's the most whites in the United States, and then on welfare it's also the most. Whites are number 1 also, right?
No, they're number 2.
Oh, I thought you said they're number 1.
And this is a percentage of it. So say it was $100. Out of every $100, 38.8% goes
and what was
to
for black? What was black?
39.8.
Oh, okay. I thought you read it in order of. Okay.
No, I started, but then I went to the way they have it because they're doing by population. So now the deal is, blacks make up 14% of the population, but they accept 40%, almost 40%, 39.8% of welfare. Whites 38.8% of the total amount, and the population they're over 50%. So Hispanics 15.7%. They are 15% of the population.
Right in line there.
But did you know that there's 15% of the general population are Hispanics, but 14% are black? So I just read this to you backwards because as I'm reading through here,
there's more Hispanics than blacks in the United States?
Think of that.
Didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I'd have believed that in Southern California and maybe Florida.
Well, I was blown away because as I'm reading through this, I thought that they put it in order, but they didn't. They said to break it down, 14% of the populations are of black descent. Over 50% of the U.S. population is white. 15% of the general population is Hispanic. But that's general. Okay, here's the difference. There's general and there's citizen population. Citizen population is different. So there's a little more, you know what I mean?
Well, we have to go general because they're given welfare. You don't have to be a citizen to get welfare.
Apparently not. Well, if we go back to the breakdowns of it, unemployment, well, don't you have to be a citizen to be employed? So or have legal residence somehow, a green card or something to be unemployed, correct?
Yeah, but you could have a green card and still.
Well, okay. Anyway, I think those numbers are pretty staggering.
Yeah.
If you look at them, they don't break it down, which I would, unless they do somewhere in some crazy website. So please don't email and yell at me.
I'm sure there is a place that does.
Breakdown of actual which one it is: a family and children, what percentage, unemployment, what percentage, unemployment.
We can break it down and talk for 20 hours.
Oh, I know. What I know how you feel about welfare, the family and children.
It's definitely necessary,
but it's evil.
It's not evil.
Because this chain that we got at the beginning, you have to break the chain.
Right. We have to do a much better job of that. But just cutting it off isn't. I understand, you would probably just like to cut it off and force them to be self-sufficient. I think that we need to put more resources into, first of all, getting rid of the people who scam it. And second, making incentives for people to get off welfare. Because there are people that are on welfare that technically deserve it, but you have absolutely no incentive to get off, and they have to find a way to give them incentive. And, not just because it's better for us, economically, but it's better for that person. Wouldn't you feel better about yourself if you're earning your own money?
I would.
I would too. And you would think most people would, even if they...
But maybe if it's a generational thing, it doesn't have that same effect.
Yeah.
That's where I'm wondering, and I you can't call somebody up and say, hey, can you tell us about your,
Right.
But maybe that is because you've worked since you were a little kid. I've worked since I was a little kid. I worked since I was 14.
Right.
And when I got injured, I was so upset. Not because, I was upset because I got injured, but because I wasn't working, and I hated not working.
Yeah.
So, matter of fact, this show came from that, because I said, look, we got to do something.
Right.
Maybe in a generational gap, it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, I think that if it just keeps happening within the same family, it's just that's just your way of life, and that's going to be a real tough thing to break. But it does need to be. We need to find a way. I don't know if maybe slow it down and stop it, but just cutting it off and just saying fend for yourself. That's tough, man. That's tough. That's like owning a pet and domesticating it and stuff, and then all of a sudden just throwing it out in the woods.
Ish. Yeah,
you get.
I don't know if that analogy.
I think that's
over
a great.
so well.
I think that's a great analogy.
Well, it is, but I mean, now you're saying.
I'm not saying they're pets, but you know what I mean.
If
you get used to a certain thing, and then all of a sudden just say that's it, fend for yourself. Well, I mean, okay, let's take me for example. You go back to the caveman days or something. If you just threw me in a cave right now, I wouldn't last that long.
No, because you wouldn't want the club in the cave because that's a weapon.
Oh, okay.
And you would want to make sure you shared everything with everybody, so you would starve to death. And then when it came time to get the water, you would procrastinate with all the rest of your liberal buddies for 45 minutes to find out who was going to go get that water.
The procrastination part might be right, not because I'm liberal, but because I'm a procrastinator. I don't think that has to do anything with my political beliefs. That's just a little boy thing.
Well, I understand where you're coming from, and you know how I feel about the welfare system. I think it's way overused. It's $495 billion.
No, I think we both agree that it's way overused. I just think that both of our solutions are different.
But I don't think just cutting them off.
No.
Because I think you say
every time I've said that, you haven't disagreed. You haven't said anything. You just
because if it happened, I'd be like, well, but I'm not proposing that.
You're not proposing it, but you wouldn't have a problem with it either.
No, but you can't do that. People would die, and that I would never be okay for. Or they would get desperate, and desperate people do desperate things, and that's a great point. I didn't even really think about that. But you're right. I don't want to do that. But at the same time, I have a problem with this continuous flow.
Well, I do too. And what's the solution though?
I have heard, and I'm not going to throw out color. I'm just going to say I have heard that the more children you have, the more welfare benefits you get.
Yes. Now I have I have an opinion on this that it might surprise you. Because it's going to be probably something that you're going to really agree with. I think that, now this might sound harsh, I think that if you need welfare, one of the, shall we say, contingencies is you have to be on birth control. You have to be on birth control. I'm not saying to sterilize people. I'm not saying to tie some tubes or anything. But what they have? They have those shots. There's different types of birth control that are not a pill because the pill can be forgotten. Something where you actually have to, something. I think that if you're going to be on welfare.
You think I would agree with you, the government saying that you have to take birth control? You think I would agree with that?
What no. I'm not telling you that the government's out there telling people they should have to take birth control. I am saying that if you are going to take aid, one of the contingencies is you are also going to be on birth control. It's still your choice. You don't have to do it. But that's part of the deal. That's part of the deal because if you can't, and not that children aren't great and all that type of stuff. And I mean, I have 2 daughters and we couldn't afford either one of them. I mean, we weren't on welfare, but honestly, if you wait till you can afford to have a kid, we would all die because nobody can afford a kid.
No.
But if you are that desperately, financially in trouble, it's not the right time to bring a child into the world. And, I think that if you're going to be taking aid, that you shouldn't be able to have children.
That I don't agree with that. Okay. I would never agree with the government telling me I have to take a medication.
They're not telling you have to. You're choosing.
Well, no, I'm just saying. But what I would agree to, and I think is kind of the same idea, is that you do not get increased benefits.
But the problem is the kids suffer.
No, but here's the thing.
You have more kids, the kids suffer.
Yeah, but a lot of times I think this would curb the have more kids get more.
I don't think so.
I think it would. Because this is the incentive to use birth control. Birth control is free through Planned Parenthood. So basically, here's what happens. After 3 kids, 4 kids, whatever, I mean, there has to be a number. I don't know throw the number out, is you do not get increased benefits. Now, if you have another kid, well, I guess you're going to have to figure out a way to make numbers
which
stretch.
the kids suffer
But
because it's
don't
tight
you think
already.
it would break the cycle though? Because now instead of having 8 kids, 9 kids,
Well,
because that's
let's look at something.
well,
Let's look at when you're poor.
well, let me
You
just
have
throw
less
this
when
number
you're
out
when
real
you're
quick.
poor. You have let's first of all take people who aren't scamming, who are really legitimately needed.
Or-
Okay,
yeah, right.
So they are very poor. Okay, when you're poor, you have less things to entertain you. Correct?
Right.
Okay.
Oh, I know where you're going.
I know, and I'm not trying to sound crude. I just remember before we had kids, our TV broke for a week.
Okay. We're not going to go there, but I know what you're saying.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, remember we had a talk on last week's show about if it's somebody's idea, they'll do it, but if it's told to them, they're not going to do it.
Right.
So if you turn around and say, doesn't start now, but it's going to be implemented in 2014 or 2016, whatever it is, that the ratio to if you have 2 kids, 4 kids, 6 kids, it stops. I think it will help because, look, and here's how we'll help you do that. You have free birth control. You have ability to get this stuff. Having the extra kid is going to be a burden on you. It's going to stop this perpetual cycle because right now, if you have 4 to 6 kids and you're on welfare, you'll be collecting $49,000 a year.
Wow.
$49,000 a year. Now, what if we said if you have 2 kids, you're going to collect $35,000. If you have 4 kids, you're going to collect $35,000.
Yeah, I'm certainly open to that. I'm not saying that won't work. I'm not sure. I mean, we have both different ideas, and they both could work. Your idea actually is a little bit easier to put across to somebody because you're right. My idea is telling them,
this is what you're going to do.
Yeah,
You're going to sterilize yourself. Even if it's temporary, you're going to sterilize yourself.
Right.
If you're going to be
And
honest. And what happens if something happens and then they get pregnant?
I know.
Maybe
it's
that's
not,
detrimental. Okay, well, now you're off welfare. So then you're doing that, throw the puppy out in the
right.
wild.
I certainly would go for either one. I really would. And maybe your idea would work. Maybe, the problem is you have to, when you make a rule like that, you have to make something that's going to work for most people. There's no way that something's going to work for everybody. There just isn't,
No.
And you are, unfortunately, with your plan, you are going to have a few people who the children suffer because they're going to have more kids and they're going to have less money for those kids. And it's just going to happen.
Well, the show's starting to get long, but I got to talk about Haiti earthquake relief. I want to talk about that. Sorry, we're probably going to be into a 45-minute show, 50-minute show. That's where it is. The Haiti, the Haitian earthquake that happened, about $5.2 billion has been raised or pledged towards Haiti, and about $1.6 billion of it has been spent on rebuilding. So there's a little deficit there, but we're not going to really go into where the deficit is, except that my sister who lives in the middle of the country, is now on her way with her church group down to Haiti, and they're going to rebuild an orphanage. Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, you can't complain about rebuilding an orphanage, but what I'm getting at here, and what I want to throw out here is, I'm really sad, and what happened in Haiti was horrible. I feel terrible about the loss of life. I feel terrible that these people have to live like that. Where does it end? Okay, I want to reiterate, I'm not trying to be a jerk. What I'm trying to say is, where does it end? Now we have churches in this country who are going down there and spending money that they're raising again. I know because she's calling looking for money to go down there and rebuild the orphanages. And I'm thinking, couldn't you do that same thing here?
Here, I know. And, it's so tough because, you look at a country like that and they don't have the funds, they don't have the resources to...
They got $5.2 billion. I
know.
Don't you remember Clinton and first President Bush, with their, running campaigns to help? Uh-huh. Don't you remember how much money this country alone has put into it? We just pledged last week another 100 million, 100 billion, oh my God. there would be a run on Washington. But really, when does it end? And I don't know what to say about it, but
it's so tough because you don't want to say it's a real touchy subject because you're right. You don't want to say, I don't think they should get help. You know, I mean, you don't want to be that guy, you know, even though sometimes you are that guy. You don't want to be that guy. But, you know, we got problems in our own country, you know, too. So we, you know, it's tough, man. It's tough.
You know, I can't stand the fact that you make these little noises and it makes me laugh so much because it drives me insane.
Do those pick up on the...
Yeah, they pick up. I'm sure they pick up. I'm sure you guys hear those little noises all the time. He drives me crazy. And it's fine for him but his stomach makes so much noise. And then I'm trying to be serious about something. And then gurgle.
I can't burp. So that's what my stomach does. It just makes it. I can't burp. I just, I didn't get the burp gene, I guess. So that happens, and I can't really control it.
You know, I hope you're happy. This iPhone problem that you had has destroyed my whole concentration.
Wait a second. Not had.
Have.
Because I'm still trying to fix it as we're talking right now, and it will not fix.
You are all over the place.
I know.
And then you have these noises. You have completely disrupted my concentration for this show. I want to end it on a good note, though.
Okay.
I think it was a great show.
Yeah, I think it was, too.
It was a great show. And I thank you all for watching again.
Yes.
Of course, we have to do our ending comments. One thing I wanted to add is, if you're watching this, you're probably watching this through our website, fatmanandlittleboy.com.
Right.
If you go there, you have the 2 play buttons, I believe. And you can watch it through there. But we also have a YouTube page.
YouTube page.
And it's PMLB Enterprises, all one word. You can go to the page and subscribe. And if you subscribe to that, then you don't have to go to the website. We still want you to go to the website. Of
course we do.
Obviously, we have information on there. We're going to start a blog on the website. I know it's a blog now, but we're going to start a blog on the website where you can ask questions for Little Boy. And all during the week, we'll just post little things that we're doing. We're going to start that in the next few weeks. Because, we both have different occupations as well. So I wanted to put that out there to watch us on YouTube.
Yes.
And then, but you can always contact us at comments@fatmanandlittleboy.com.
You can call us at 858-522-9164.
You can see us at fatmanandlittleboy.com.
Right. You can download us on iTunes.
And then, of course, watch us on YouTube like we just talked about. Also, if you have a DirecTV unit, you can watch us through DirecTV. You search on the Smart Search, and it's connected just fatmanandlittleboy.com. Oh, no, Fatman and Little Boy. On Smart Search, and you'll find it.
Cool.
And
so that's PHAT.
Yeah, PHAT. And also, you were talking about Blu-ray.
Yeah, if you have a Blu-ray player that connects through your internet or through your Wi-Fi, you can search. You can go to YouTube on there. You can search on there.
All right. So, other than that, Little Boy, I think it's been a great show.
I think that the next time we need to maybe bring back a food review or maybe have Wow Mom bring us some food again.
I know. It's been actually 2 weeks since we've done that. And also we have guests that want to talk on the show.
Yep.
But every time we always do this. We're 40-something minutes into the show. So, all right, everybody out there, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.
Yep.
And we will see you real soon.
Take care.